evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 8, Episode 15, DJI Mavic 4 Pro, new leaks, new release date. Hope everyone is doing well. You guys were on a spot here tonight. Wow. Let's see. Joe Merrick is here. Josh is here. Akaracho. Steve Janess. Let's see. Who else we got? Drone Shots, Jody. Waypoint New England, Art's here, welcome Art. CT Pirate, welcome. Lauren is here, welcome Lauren. FTFO Media, let's see who else we got. Michael Wright, welcome Michael. John Flynn, welcome John. Wow, you guys really have packed the house here tonight. Okay. All right, Richard's here, welcome Richard. Mark White, welcome Mark, good to see you tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Alex, welcome. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Super Ego CA, welcome. Thank you for you guys stopping by tonight here. Well, first of all, I want to start off what I've been starting off with for Ron's going to join me here in a little bit. Ron's 100%, well, as close to 100% as possible. He's going to join me, and I got a little bit of a surprise to share with him, a little memory here. But wanted to share with you, give you guys an update on Valerie, because, you know, if you've dealt with vertigo before, you know that it's just something that can come up like that. And I'm getting an education. We're both getting an education about it. And we had our first session with a vestibular rehabilitation therapist, like exactly what it is. Okay, John, welcome. Thank you for stopping by from Australia. And it's just as the name implies, it's really, but it's therapy on what there's some things here that therapist wants to find out, and one of them is to see what side the crystals are loose on. And if you know anything, what happens is, with most cases of vertigo, it's because crystals from the inner ear get dislodged, and the whole goal of the therapy is it's positional, and it's to get those crystals back into place. Now, one of the things with it being positional like this is, you know, it can bring on an episode of this because you're trying to do this. And we went through two of these on I think it was on Monday. And let me tell you what, okay, if you're attached to your better half like I am attached to my better half, I'd said just let me do this instead of her, okay, because it was excruciating, and it can bring severe nausea, you know, and what happens with nausea and all that. But one of the things that the therapist did was, which I thought was really interesting, was an alcohol swipe pad, okay, to smell that, kind of like a smelling salt. And that really helped Valerie a lot. But on the first time, it wasn't so bad, but she wants to keep her eyes open, because what happens is when you're undergoing this vertigo, your eyes just start to roll and go all over the place. And I watched the second time, and she gave her plenty of time, and, you know, a break and a rest between it and everything, and then was putting her back down. And I saw her have that episode, and her eyes were just all, oh my gosh, it was just scary, frightening. And I felt for her, and of course she felt nauseated, and but she was so gentle and kind with her. And really, you know, the whole goal is to get Valerie to the point that she can do these Epley maneuvers at home, and there's a right way to do them. And that's some of the things that we're going through. So I'm going to be going with her to these sessions. We have 2 more scheduled for next week to go to. So if you could say a prayer or have some kind thoughts our way Monday and Thursday next week, that would be great. They make a lot of difference, and I'm a firm believer in that. So just to kind of give you guys a heads up with where all that is, because Josh, this therapist is already, I can tell, I will sing the praises of physical therapy and therapists all day long, because um, tendonitis in my shoulders, and from moving, which I shouldn't have done at my age, even 15 years ago. And they did wonders for that. I had ruptured some, Lord knows what, hamstrings in my left leg, and they made all the difference there. And when I broke my hand, they made all the difference there. So they're worth their weight in gold. She is very good. And she also shared with us that she's had an episode before too. It's not, he said, I didn't want to have one, but she said she knows exactly what you're going through. And the nice thing about that is, they've done, they work with hundreds of patients, and she's going to make a big difference in Valerie's life. And, that's what we're looking for. As of right now, we did talk to the doctor about her driving. And one of the things that we have decided to do for now, Valerie's not going to drive, but one thing that he said is he wants her to be able to go like this and to be able to go like that comfortably without it causing any kind of an episode. And we're not at that point yet. And I think until she gets a few more therapy sessions down, because what happens with the big goal of these therapy sessions is to get the crystals back in place. And there are some things that you do that might exacerbate something like this. For example, the day before this episode happened, she had a MRI, and I think that ended up exacerbating the situation. Another thing was cleaning the shower. We have a glass shower, and she was bending over. And see, these are some things that what I've been doing for her. Anything up high, anything low, I've been reaching for and doing some of these things. She can still function, fairly normally, and she's working from home. She's not having any issues with that, and pretty much everyday life is good for her. It's just, I want to step in and do some of these things for her. So, yeah, yeah. Thank you, CT Pyre. I really appreciate that. You guys are great. You guys are absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Art. Again, all you guys have been great. I've gotten a lot of messages as well too about this, and I'm sorry to spend a few minutes at the top of the hour and the beginning of the show, but you guys know I am like, she's my heart and soul on this earth, and the whole reason I love what I'm doing is because of her. And she's my number one fan, and she watches a lot of these shows. So, okay. All that being said, all right, here we go. All right. Well, we got some updates about the Mavic 4 Pro, and I also have some updates, including what the prices will be with the tariffs. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming up at the bottom of the hour. Some more pictures as well, and some more information on the release date as well. So stay tuned for all that. Dr. Ted, welcome. Thank you for stopping by tonight. Wow, that's great, FPV Emperor. That is absolutely great. First of all, and we'll kind of revisit this with Ron. In spite of everybody, I really felt bad for Captain Ray coming down with COVID. I know Ron got sick from it. I know several others got sick from it. I know Marcus's wife ended up getting sick. Sarah got sick from it as well too. So it kind of made the rounds, unfortunately, and that's just one of these things. But from all accounts and from all the pictures that I've seen and everybody that I've talked to, everybody had a great time down there. I was really happy to see that. Joni Oki, yes, I did. I did get a new printer, and I had some really good suggestions. I ended up getting another HP. It was on sale, and it has really good reviews. And I'm very hopeful for that. I'm very, very hopeful for that. But I think next go around, I'm probably going to look at maybe an Epson. I know several of my friends from high school highly recommended them, and another one where you actually pour the ink in, not inject it in, but there's a bottle and it has a top on it, and you push it down and it drops in there, and they last a long time. But that's supposedly more for high volume printing, and I don't do what I would consider high volume printing. My big printing time is once a month when I pay bills. That's why I just, guys, let you know. But yeah, Jonioni, thank you for asking that. it's better now. And what we did was to alleviate that, I got a second printer on sale at Best Buy. It was like 130. I got it for like 80. And that's going to go in Valerie's home office as well too. So we're going to have redundant printers. So that's where we're at with that. By all account, again, with the drone meetup, looks like you guys had a great time. I think from the numbers, yeah, Mark, we signed up for HP has a monthly plan that we signed up for that really helps distribute the cost of that and lessens it out. And it's actually based upon your use. I don't know if you guys have that over there, but we have that, and that's kind of made a difference for me. So we're going to cross our fingers, and the last one lasted 4 years. So, and I figured that's about what the shelf life is for them. But I'm probably gonna try an Epson next go around. So, okay, that's good to hear, Ray. I'm really happy to hear that you're feeling better. Excuse me. So that's good news as far as the meetup was concerned. It looks like everybody had a great time. They had the meet and greet on Friday night. That went well. The meetup itself went well. The weather look great. I think probably from what I see, it was pretty windy there. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm kind of maybe leaning that way next time myself. So yeah, so that's I'm glad everybody had a good time. Hopefully next year we can get there. I know I got several messages, you avoided getting a pretty nasty cold and all that kind of good stuff. So I hate to say that, but that's always a good thing, because I had a really bad one over Christmas. Not as bad as the year before, but my daughter and her family, my granddaughters were here, and it was rough. It was rough having my granddaughters here and trying to be there for them. And it was, when you're not feeling good, it was just not good at all. Okay. All right. We're going to get to some stuff here. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like mouthing off here. Oh, there he is. Ron, how are you, sir?
Hello, Bill. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I got a little surprise here for you, and I'm going to share with you.
Oh, good surprise.
Well, this came from, let's see here. If I get this right. Okay. Yeah. This, on April 14th, 2019. Do you remember where you were?
Oh, Reddington Beach area?
Well, here's picture proof taken by your better half. And there's Ron Brown and yours truly right there, out on Reddington Beach, having a blast.
That was a beautiful evening, Bill.
It really was. Valerie was remarking about that. She said she enjoyed meeting you and Susan so much, and dinner, and then going out on the beach and talking and watching us fly. And it was just it was a wonderful evening. It could not have been better.
Well, weather was perfect. Yeah,
it really was. It was one of those times, as Valerie puts it, magical.
Yeah,
it was really kind of magical right there. So that was just that was a lot of fun. That was an absolute lot of fun. And as you guys know, that's some of the stock footage that I use at the end, at the trailer of all my videos was from this meetup that we did. So,
yeah.
But a lot of fun, and that's what sold Ron on the Mavic 2. Was after he saw my flying that, and in the video from it, looking at it, is like, wow, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. We had a great time there.
We did.
So that was nice. That's nice getting that popping up on your timeline, seeing it. So first of all, how are you feeling, Ron? You feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, I've made a pretty good recovery. I mean, I got my voice back. I didn't cough too much last night during the show. Now, I get tired when I do something. Like today, I was trying to fix this door. It doesn't take much to tire me out, but I'm doing better than I expected, because about a week ago this time, I was at my worst. Tuesday, I don't think I drove at all that day. Susan drove the whole day. I was real sick that day.
Oh man. Now, did she get sick at all?
She was like about a day behind me. So,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
by our last day of driving, I had to do most of the driving on Wednesday because she was starting to feel worse and worse.
Oh gosh. That's horrible. I know when during when my kids were, in fact, this was before my youngest was even born, and this was with my first wife. We drove down to Florida and had to drive back. I had full on bronchitis and I had to drive back. And wow, that was a real, I mean, I had to have 2 water bottles up there with me, and it was not good. It was not fun. I'll tell you that. Yeah. It was not a good thing, but glad you're back. Glad you're on the mend here. First article I wanted to talk about, these DJI products just won NAB's 2025's top honors. DJI RS4 Mini Hollywood Smooth backpack size. Here, DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro camera power, action cam style. DJI SDR transmission, a must-have for live shoots. Osmo Mobile 7 series smartphone shooters rejoice. Osmo Pocket 3 and Action 4, tiny cameras, huge performance. DJI Mic 2 and Mic Mini, small mics, big sound. And bonus was the DJI Power Series. So that's,
but the DJI drones are especially missing from the event.
yeah, that's it. Very interesting. There were no drones talked about from that. So that was very interesting. And you can't help but think that may have been done on purpose, Ron.
Yes. Agreed.
Yeah. So, but that was interesting to see that come up today. I was kind of intrigued about that. So
yeah, I mean, going forward, Bill, do you think that even if DJI drones are banned or delayed or whatever, that the non-drone products are still going to make it through to buyers in the U.S.?
I think they will. I think they will. I think we're not going to have problems with that. I think those will get here. And I have a working theory that we're going to get to here in a minute. I did see this article on Drone XL. DJI Enterprise teases powerful spotlight and speaker payloads from the Matrice 350 RTK, and of course in their mysterious dimly lit view, they tease the launch here. Light up the night.
Yesterday, I think Jasper, I think it was Igor, they even released the promo videos already out there.
Oh, okay.
You can see tomorrow's promo video now on, if you go to Igor's Twitter account.
You go to their channels. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah. So this is good, especially for first responders. I expect that to really make a big difference for them. It's come a long way since the original, Mavic 2 Enterprise with that original spotlight and the thermal that had that. Because I eons ago I had gotten a set of unit to test, and it was very interesting how that worked, but it did work, which was pretty impressive there. So
and a show note, Bill, there will be no Drone Nation launch party show tomorrow for this event, the Sound and Light event.
Right, because this is just for the Matrice. So another interesting article here on Parazero expands Class C5 safety to Mavic 3 Pro drones. Drone operators in Europe now have more room to fly safely and legally. Israeli firms expanded its compliance for Mavic 3 drone line, adding full Class C5 certification to Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3 Pro Cine. The move means Parazero's Safe Air system is now fully certified across all major Mavic 3 platforms, which is interesting here. Why does this matter? In Europe, Class C5 certification is key for drone operators looking to fly in complex environments like crowded city streets or sensitive areas under specific category rules set up by the European Union Aviation Safety Agency. Wow, that's a mouthful. The update comes after DJI officially marked the Mavic 3 Pro and Pro Cine with its Class C2 status. Parazero's Safe Air system adds an extra layer of protection by offering real-time flight monitoring, situational awareness, and a patented emergency parachute system. These features can help prevent accidents and enable safer missions in areas with tighter flight restrictions. And I wanted to stop right here with this, Ron, is we all know what the gist of the federal government is fighting with DJI about and all this kind of stuff. But also, too, I think in the back of their mind, they have to be thinking in terms of safety and flying, drones over crowded areas and things. And what I think, and this is just my take on things, and we're going to get to another article here in a second, but I think is part of what's going to make us be able to continue to enjoy consumer drones. I think consumer drones are going to have these items here. Okay. And it's not just like it said here in the European Union, flying in complex environments or over crowds or, things like that. I think it's going to happen all the time because they want to maybe try to minimize accidents. It's just a gut feeling. I haven't seen anything on this. It's just something that I think is probably going to happen. In
this case, Bill, do you think with these parachutes that'll make drones like the Mavic 3 legal to fly over people?
It could, and that's why I think we're going to see something like this.
So, there's a lot of chat going in, a lot of talk in the chat saying it's hockey night tonight.
Yeah, it is hockey night tonight. The Panthers are playing Tampa here in Tampa. It's on ESPN, but the Panthers are resting almost their entire first and second string players. But Tampa can't do that because they're still trying to win the division. And not only that, when you have to call up from your minor league team, you have to have cap space to do that. And Tampa has no cap space. Cool. So they can't really call anybody up from their AHL affiliate. So they have to use their first string players. So, but that's there's two schools of thought. You want to go into the playoffs healthy, or you want to go in and have home ice. And Florida has chosen to be healthy versus having home ice. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. So, yeah. So that's kind of where that is. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about here, before we get to talking about the Mavic 4 Pro, let me go ahead and get this article up here. Okay. All right. Trump's tariff exemption spares some Chinese tech, but not drones. What U.S. consumers face in 2025. Okay. Latest tariff exemptions leave drones exposed. Exclusion significantly impacts U.S. consumers with popular models like Mavic 3 Pro, essentially jumping from $21.99 to $47.50. Okay. Let's take a look here. Historical tariff context, a growing burden since 2018. And it gets into the history of tariffs in here. And I'm not going to do this. You guys are welcome to read this at your leisure here. But Hay did put a good article together here. It's talking about the whole process of tariffs and everything. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background here, why the administration is so bent on these tariffs with China is you have to understand something, okay? And this is kind of the bottom line, and this isn't political. This is aimed at the United States here. Fentanyl use fentanyl is a dangerous drug, okay? It kills people, all right? China has been exporting this ad nauseum into the United States for years, all right? The whole idea of these tariffs is to just the goal of the administration is to eliminate or greatly reduce this fentanyl so it can be be picked up with customs and borders. And I think that's part of a growing problem. That's kind of some of the logic and thinking behind this. Again, I don't have a PhD in economics. I majored in business. I didn't major in economics. So, what this means as far as the tariff is concerned, you can read some of these articles here. So, now one of the things that I did read is consumer electronics like smartphones, watches, laptops, that type of thing, that's going to be allowed. And I kind of think, I find it funny, Ron, and ironic, okay, that they're allowing things like a smartphone, but yet they won't allow a drone, which, as a smartphone could communicate with the world, and a drone can pretty much only communicate with its controller, kind of a thing,
Right. And modern smartphones take some pretty good darn video and photos, right, Bill?
Oh, they sure do. And as they have, with Apple, they can hook up to satellites as well too, and Android's getting that capability as well too, from what I understand as well here. So read through this, and if you have questions, what I would recommend is contact your United States Congressman's office and, see if you can get some explanations from them on this, because it's a complex issue. It's nothing, it's something that obviously, it's going to impact a lot of people, but I think the administration, and again, this isn't political, they're trying not that they really want to try to minimize the impact on people, and they really want to curb a dangerous drug from entering the United States. That's what I take on this. Okay.
Yeah. Bill, taking it back to drones, these tariffs are bad for drone buyers, not good at all. But if you can't get your drone because it's being held up in customs or just can't it won't even matter to us.
Yeah.
If we can't get the drone, the tariffs don't matter. Well, I'm assuming, Bill, if I ordered a Mavic 4 Pro and it got stuck in customs in Miami and it never gets to me, when I get refunded, will I get refunded the money plus the tariff price too, or will I lose the tariff?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I hope I get all the money back and they don't keep the tariff.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I wanted to take a look at here, and then, let me go ahead and stop this. We're at that magic hour of the show here. With
the star of the show is here, folks.
Yes. And one of the things that I wanted to go over right away here was I've actually found this today. And this is the first thing that I wanted to talk about, which this Drone DJ and Drone XL didn't have this, but I did find this out on X today. Okay. Now, what they did was they put the prices of the three packages right here. The leaked estimated price, for example, the Mavic 4 Pro standard at $2,250 with the tariff here, they had it at $3,015. Mavic 4 Pro Flymore combo $3,200 with a tariff $4,288. Mavic 4 Pro 512 gigabyte creator combo $4,400 with a tariff $5,896. That just right off the bat, Ron, a lot of people aren't going to buy these. I can tell you that right now.
Bill, is there any possibility that DJI eats some of the tariff into the price point for the U.S. Buyers?
I don't know. And it depends on how much they want to, take back this kind of a thing, because obviously, it's going to stifle sales, and that, they have to walk a fine line here. Okay. Because how much profit are they willing to give up to make sure that these products sell here in the United States? That would be the big question here. And then the other question is this, and I know, and I've seen it before, and I've seen it out on X today, and some people were talking about this, is, oh, well, you know what? I can just go to Canada and buy one up there and bring it in the United States. Not so fast here, okay? Because I tell you what, if you're going across the border, guess what? You have to be searched. I mean, it's no longer hand them a piece of paper or your passport and go through, okay? Everybody gets searched coming through the border. And you have to declare things, all right? You're going to have to declare that, all right? And if you declare that, you're going to have to pay a tariff on it, okay? And they're going to be looking for things like this. And it would be the same if you would like I had done, would get an address up in Canada, have it mailed there, and then have it mailed from that address to the United States. You'll have to pay the tariff on it, okay? If you're going to have it shipped, okay? So there's no real workaround for this, all right? This is going to be a hard and fast kind of rule for this. So, Ron, it's we don't know if it's going to happen or not. Now, we're going to talk about the release date here in a minute, which is going to be a little way. The release date's going to be a little ways off. But I think with all this, Ron, I think something's going to happen by the point of time that the Mavic 4 Pro is released, that I don't think these tariffs are going to mean anything. This is just my gut feeling here. Because I think there's just too much money at stake for both sides here, and I think that you're going to see some give and take on both sides, and I think we'll, get to a point of, the United States accomplishing what it wants to do in this instance here regarding these tariffs. And, again, I don't pretend to make any sense of tariffs and the economics behind all this. It boggles my mind when I think about it. I just want, I want U.S. consumers to be able to get things at a fair price. And I think, I want other countries for them to be able to get things at a fair price and not get gouged. Okay. Because that's been happening for years. Okay.
Yeah.
We have been gouged, all right, from other countries, a lot of the items that we pay for. And we don't want that to continue. And that's we're trying to get some equity here. Now, I know a lot of the countries over in Europe have already decided that they're going to do what's called reciprocal tariffs, which mean, whatever we charge, they charge, kind of a thing. So, it will be a level playing field. And I think we're trying to get China to that point as well, too, Ron.
Of course, go off the tariffs a little bit here. DJI's drones in particular in a weird position compared to most things. I mean, say there's a tariff on clothing or shoes or whatever, or stuff that are made in the U.S. and available from other countries. But it's tough when you have a category like drones where there are no on tariff options. There is no other, well, I'll get the U.S. drone, or I'll get it from a country that doesn't have much tariffs. I mean, you're tariffing a product that's not really available any other way.
Yeah. You're caught between a rock and a hard place, as the old saying goes, because there's no option here. I mean, you either are going to have to pay that price or not get that product. All right. That's kind of how this is shaping up for right now. All right. Now, one of the things that I do want to take a look at here is, let's see here. I want to get the right screen up here.
We have a gentleman in the chat, Kingfish. He's asking about the Air 4S.
Well, you know what? I think, that's a good question.
Bill, we got to get the Air 4 before we get the Air 4S, right?
Yeah, the Air 4. We've got to put the cart before the horse here, Ajax. But and get an Air 4 before an Air 4S hits our market. And there was some talk about that earlier, but there really hasn't been anything in weeks because the focus has been on the Mavic 4 Pro. Now, the one thing that one of the things that we got a chance to see, Ron, which is very rare, we got to see an excerpt from email here. Yeah. Okay. And this is from DJI to an influencer here. And it talks about Dear Mavic 4 Pro early experience user. Okay. An influencer. And you can read this through your leisure. It talks about the price. And again, these are probably listed in Chinese figures right here, whatever RMB is. But it says here, the early test period is scheduled to end at 20 hours on May 11, 2025. At that time, you will need to either return the product or proceed with the official purchase. Okay. So in other words, while they send them these, okay, this is interesting here. Okay. You're finding out some information that you haven't known before. All right. It used to be that when DJI would send a product out, Ron, it would be yours to keep for a review. All right. But what apparently is happening right now is you're having to pay for it after you get it to test it. The only advantage you get is you get it early to test it. After that, you got to pay for it. All right. So that's an interesting caveat that we found out through this that I don't think a lot of people knew before. It's very, very interesting.
Or this may be something new. This may be,
it may be something brand new that DJI just started doing. On March 19th, I told you Mavic 4 Pro would be released on April 24th, but I have to disappoint you. The Mavic 4 Pro has been delayed to May 13th. This was revealed by multiple DJI insiders and confirmed in an internal leaked email from DJI to their early experience users. Let me break it down for you, okay? 24th of April is crossed off on all lists. While the images of boxes that can only open on the 24th are already circulating, rumors were growing strong. The drone won't be in stores on that date. My friend doesn't tweet much, but warned us 10 days ago that our Mavic 4 Pro would be delayed. Sadly, he was definitely right this time, okay? Now for something you don't see as often, a direct email from DJI to the influencers. The Chinese email, translated in English, tells the key opinion leaders it's strictly forbidden for early experience users to leak information to the outside world. Meanwhile, this email says the Mavic 4 Pro product testers are able to buy their test Mavic 4 Pro with about a 50% discount. Interesting. The base price of a Mavic 4 Pro here is 13,500 Chinese RMB, which converts to 1,850 US dollars. The price aligns fairly well with the 2250 we previously reported here on Drone XL. The price includes the RC2 remote and excluded that. Last but not least, the email states the testing period will end on Sunday, May 11th. Hitting all, the drone will launch on the first Tuesday after. DJI never releases on Monday or Friday because of different time zones in the weekend here, okay? Multiple videos have been leaked again, and again, there's some more videos. Igor has released one. To be completely honest, I'm personally a bit fed up with the Mavic 4 Pro videos of the drone in the wild. My Russian colleague Igor shared a video yesterday. Interesting, but not even newsworthy anymore. Normally, a video might leak before a drone's launch. Everyone gets very curious with this amount of leak footage. I'm only getting more hungry for actual leaks, like the official product images and specifications of Mavic 4 Pro. They're very close. With the launch day now set and confirmed for May 13th, we're again 4 more weeks from the long-awaited launch of the Mavic 4 Pro. This means the official announcement is also now postponed to May 6, 2025. With the system in place, I expect to see all product images popping up this week. Thank you for reading all the articles. I'll be able to update you as soon as there are breaking news on this topic. Cheers. Okay, that's a lot of information to digest there, Ron. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking one of the things here, okay, this means several things here, all right? And I'm gonna try to break these down here. First and foremost, probably some of the key influencers, beta testers, whatever you want to call them, excuse me, may have found something. Okay, so they may have pushed that back to push out a firmware update to get that taken care of. That would be a primary thing. Primary reason why they would do something like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the other reasons, and we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this past couple of weeks, is that what DJI is wanting to do, because we've seen drones not get stopped at customs anymore, like the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro. They've made it into the United States. With what I'm thinking here, they build up enough inventory of those drones here that that they're good, that you can get them. If you order them from DJI, you'll get them in a day or two. Excuse me again. I think the other thing that this can mean is they were waiting for inventory to build up in sufficient quantities here in the United States. And, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a software issue, okay? That also means in conjunction with this, I think they're wanting to be safe rather than sorry, because as Ron knows, with the original Mavic 4, the original Mavic Pro, okay, inventory, they really caught DJI off guard. They were 6 months behind in orders. It was not a pretty picture for them for months. People were just screaming at the top of their lungs at them.
Yeah,
so
what we're trying to say here is DJI is no stranger to delays here in product releases or low inventory.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that you're seeing here with this is that DJI is very well aware of this, because they don't want to repeat this mistake ever again. And when they say it's available here, they don't want you to have to wait on getting it from Shenzhen. Okay. This is just my gut feeling. Yeah. I could be totally wrong. They could be coming from Shenzhen. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they want to get them over here because they'll bypass this whole customs issue, which apparently is not an issue anymore, because if you go out to DJI's website, the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro, you order them, they'll be here in 2 or 3 days.
I'm going to stop you there for a second. DJI put out a Easter special email yesterday, Easter sale, right? But if you went from a U.S. server and looked at all the popular products like the Air 3S, they were all listed as out of stock. That was yesterday afternoon when I got the email. Most of the stuff you'd want to order was listed as out of stock.
Wow. Okay.
So, that was yesterday. And another question, Bill, about the Mavic 4 Pro and the release and everything. if those prices you showed earlier are indeed the prices with the tariff tacked on, what kind of hit do you think that's going to put to the sales of the Mavic 4? Do you think it'll cut the sales in half by 50%, 25%? You think we obviously know those prices, people that were planning on buying at the old prices, a percentage of them, I don't know, a big percentage, but a percentage are not going to buy at those prices. How big a percent do you think that is that people are going to refuse to pay those higher prices?
Well, here's an interesting point, Ron, and I saw this, and I went out to China also makes, and they're not the number one maker. Japan is, of ham radios, okay, and for correlation as far as tariffs are concerned. And there's a company called Radio Oddity, okay, and they actually are in partnership with a Chinese company called Xiegu. It begins with an X, okay, and they make ham radios, and they're popular here in the United States. All right. What they said in their email was, for the units that they already have here in warehouses in the United States, there's no tariff on them. All right.
Oh, okay.
So that's a kind of a key point. All right.
Right.
This is based on a date here. Now, I think, again, if these drones are already here in the United States, the Mavic 4 Pros, if they're already here, they're not going to be hit with this tariff, because it means, it's
you want to buy it right away, so you get one of the units that got here before the tariff.
Exactly. So it's very possible. I'm not saying that this is the case, but I'm saying the high likelihood, if the Mavic 4 Pro is something that you want, you need to get out there. I think, if they have the releases at 8 o'clock in the morning, you need to be online at 7:30. Okay.
Don't snooze, huh?
And don't snooze, and don't go to any other website except for DJI's. Okay. Don't go to Amazon. Don't go to Best Buy. Don't go to Adorama. Don't go to B&H. Go stay on DJI's website, okay? Because that's where you're not gonna have issues. If you're gonna order from the other ones, you may not see it for months. All right. Wow. And you may be hit with a tariff. If you order through DJI, there's a good possibility, and you're a person who does this early enough, you won't have to pay that tariff. That's my guess, if they're here in stock already. Okay.
Hey, Bill, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to alert you in the chat here. I just saw this. I want to send condolences out to Jay Bird and his family. His father has passed away recently.
Yeah, Jay Bird. Yeah, we're very sorry to hear that. I know I sent you a message on Facebook. I'm very sorry you weren't able to make the meetup this year. We enjoyed it last year when you and your wife and daughter were there. That was fantastic. It was so wonderful to see your family. And we send our deepest sympathies and condolences to you and your family on that. Very hard. It's very hard to go through that. We've been through it ourselves, and it's not a fun time, but I hope you get everything taken care of there, and wish you guys all the best here. So, those prices with tariffs will demand. Yeah, you're right, John. That's very true.
Yeah, and as Bill already said, we're just all speculating, guessing here. We have no idea what's going on with tariffs. We have no idea what if these things are going to be in stock. It's all just guesswork.
Martin, no, I don't know what anyone is thinking here. Okay, I'm just basing my opinion here on what the purpose of these tariffs are from what I have read, and it's apolitical. It's not Republican or Democrat. Okay, wanting to make it a fair playing surface for American consumers here, because we've been ripped off for years, and that's the only point that I'm coming from here. And also, too, the fentanyl drug crisis here in the United States is costing, thousands of lives are lost here each year because of that. And I think that's something that we would be real nice to get that stopped. And if you have a loved one that maybe have died or has had anything to do with fentanyl, you know what I'm talking about here. So no, this really is this is apolitical here. I don't talk politics on this show. I had another channel, another whole nother platform that talks about it, and I don't do that here. Okay, this is 100% about drones and about getting drones in our hands here. Okay, all right. So what we're getting back to this topic here. All right, with the delay being to May 13th, and what we've come across here. If Ron's right, and let's say, the tariffs are still in place. All right. and what kind of how much of a sales impact is this going to have with the Mavic 4 Pro? Okay. And also there are other drones too. Now, if DJI has been smart, they've been stockpiling their drones here in the United States, so they won't get hit with these tariffs. All right. But, conversely, the Mavic 4 Pro, we don't know if it's here already or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's going to really cut into DJI sales. It's going to have a significant impact. And not only DJI, and, while we're focusing on DJI, let's take a look at our good friend Johnny and his V-Copter, right? Because that's from 00 Robotics. And the Hover, that's from 00 Robotics. Autel, the Holystone, Potenzic, all of them come from over there. So they're all going to get hit with that. So, instead of paying $69 for a drone, you may pay $169 for that drone out on Amazon. So we don't know. We don't know how any of this is going to pan out. So it's kind of like put your seatbelts on and let's watch how this all plays out.
Bill, the 13th, May 13th is going to be an interesting morning, huh?
It sure will, Ron, to see where things are at. Again, one of the other things that I've said and I've talked about, and again, this is pure speculation on my part, is now, and again, this is not political. I'm just basing this on what I've seen out there, is companies, Hyundai, okay, car manufacturer, and a big company, okay, I believe they're Korean, all right,
right.
They are going to be building a steel plant. I think it's in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken here. Okay. And adding on, it's going to add on thousands of jobs and so forth. Ford is opening up more plants here in the United States as well. And I think Toyota is opening some more plants up here in the United States. And the administration is viewing companies like that are building plants here very favorably in terms of their trade status and other things here. All right. So I think, and this is just my thinking here. All right. I think you will find DJI is going to, this is my guts telling me this, and common sense is telling me this, that I believe DJI is going to build a plant here in the United States for drones to be sold in the United States and employ United States workers. And we're going to, the whole thing with, as far as customs will be eliminated, and the whole thing with this whole security issue will be eliminated, because these drones will be built and sold in the United States for the United States, or maybe North America, as far as that's concerned. That's just something I think might happen here. But
you're talking a little bit from history. You're older than me. You remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, when Honda and Toyota first started, building their little economy cars and taking some of the market away from the U.S. car companies. They put the tariff on them back then. So then Honda and Toyota just started opening plants in the U.S. to avoid those tariffs. But I'll give you the unfortunate side. You probably remember this too. It really didn't help the consumer all that much, because like Ford and Chevy seemed to, even though they didn't have a tariff, they seemed to raise their prices to match the Japanese cars that did have the tariffs. So it really did. You're sitting around thinking those old days, I'm going to get the cheap Ford and cheap Chevy, but their prices seem to go up to match the tariff prices of the foreign cars. So it really didn't help the consumer all that much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree here.
I mean, that's what happened then. That doesn't mean it's going to happen this time around.
Well,
you're right. I would love to see a couple DJI plants across this country here. I would love to see that, Bill.
I would too. And I know Lauren said he left because Lauren, we're not political here at all. Okay. And I'm not siding with one side or another side. I'm siding with the American consumer here. Okay. And also as a drone buyer and a drone pilot. Okay. That's how I'm doing my things. And I'm sorry you're leaving the show tonight.
Yeah. And anybody disagrees with Bill's opinions, you're allowed to put that in chat.
Yeah, you can do that. And Lauren was absolutely free to do that. Now I know Dre here, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, if DJI has been stockpiling drones, wouldn't make sense. American retailers would be getting supplies also. As of today, Best Buy is dry. I think in Best Buy's case, I think what you're seeing there is they had leaked drones early to before releases, and I think they got DJI told them in the strictest confidence, you're not to release these drones, period. And it happened in several releases. They came out with drones early, and I think because of that, what they did was DJI said, we're cutting Best Buy off. They're no longer considered a retailer, and it's just not now. The whole Best Buy drone thing has been going on for quite some time, because just this past weekend, we picked up our new printers at Best Buy, and I went through there, and there's nothing there. And I agree, there is nothing there, and that's because DJI has cut them off. Okay. Now, if you look at Amazon or Adorama or B&H, that's a different story. They've been having drones over there, like the Air 3S. You'll see them over there at B&H and Adorama and over on Amazon. So that's where we're at there as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I mean, folks, it's the Wild West right now, and all this stuff and whatever. Anything can happen any day.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and John's what I said earlier, try to, well, we're almost the end of the show, but if we would only try to buy an Air 3S from DJI or whatever, we're getting you out of stock warning.
Right. And I think that's where, we're at right now, is they probably ran out of inventory, because I think people bought them. I mean,
yeah, Bill, I can tell you for sure, at the South Florida drone meetup, you saw more Air 3Ss flying around. It was like 2 to 1 over the next drone. They were all over the place, Bill. They could have called that the Air 3S South Florida drone meetup. You're
probably right, because Ron, I get messages every day, thanking us on the show and thanking me and my videos and everything, because thank you for recommending the Air 3S, because it's been a fantastic drone.
It's like a workhorse drone, because it performs so well. It's affordable. It's decent size. It's just the powerhouse workhorse.
It really is. For the money, the value for the dollar, for what you get for that, it does everything that you need. Okay. Only for very serious, what I would call consumers, would I recommend a Mavic 4 Pro. Okay. If you're very serious about that, if you are like Ron, for example, and you do some real estate video and photography, that would be something that would be within your purview. If you have a channel that reviews drones, obviously that would be something like, for me, that would be in my purview. Okay. But for everyday normal use, for what you're using it for, an Air 3S is going to far exceed your needs. It's going to do everything you wanted and then some. All right. I can't say enough nice things about that drone.
And compared to Mini drone, it's a wind killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had that up there in 35-mile-an-hour winds, and you wouldn't have known it.
Look what Bob Casey called it. He called it the working man's drone.
He's absolutely right.
That's a good thing. You can get your lunch pail out and go to work with that drone, no doubt about it.
Absolutely right. Now, I think Josh has a great comment here. There's too many pieces in motion for any consistency of anything. We just have to sit back and wait for the dust to settle.
Exactly, Josh. A lot of moving parts out there.
Thank you for stating that, Josh. I'm just trying to present things, just trying to give you a big picture of things here. Again, I'm being apolitical here, okay? From day one, I don't tolerate politics on this channel. I never will. I'm not being Republican or Democrat on this. I'm being pro-American. We're all, a majority of us that watch this show live in the United States, okay? We want what's going to be best for our country. We want to be able to pay fair prices in goods and exchanges, okay? And the whole thing of this, Josh is right. We just need to sit down, take a step back, and watch this play out. Let's enjoy, okay? Here's what I think we all ought to do over the next few weeks, because we've got about another 4 weeks here. These leaks are going to start to come out. We're going to get actual specifications on the drones. We're going to get the actual boxes. We're going to see them, okay? And we're going to see them out.
The box was in the video yesterday. One of those guys leaked.
Exactly. So, let's enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead.
Pirate said he loves the Air 3S. He got all 6 batteries for it too, so he's ready.
Yeah, okay, what do I got here? Yeah, I got one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. This is from Jasper. He had put this out here. But
Yeah,
take
there's
a
that
look.
box.
Yep. There it is out in the wild.
Yep. And think this. Keep watching, Bill. Remember the gimbal rotates. They do the same effect that camera gimbals have, where it goes all the way around. Whatever they call that move.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it here before the video's over, I believe. Hover. Here it is. Watch.
Yep.
They have a name for this. The camera gimbals have it.
Yeah, I remember. I saw what that name was, and I'm not quite 100% sure about that.
Somebody in the chat help us out with what that effect's called, but I guess that'll be the first for a consumer drone, Bill.
Yes, Ray, it has. It was approved several weeks ago.
They did it. No, remember they did it back in December or January. Just to
It's been a while, but thank you for bringing it up, Ray.
And Bill, guess what Ray just got? He got the Mavic 3 Pro just recently. He bought on that Woot deal, and he unboxed it the other day and flew for the first time.
I saw that, and Ray's having a great time with that. You know, and I have the Mavic 3 Pro too, okay? And it's a fantastic drone, okay? It does everything I want and then some, all right? It does it very well, okay?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm even, you know, because I'm a reviewer, I'm going to get the Mavic 4 Pro, but I may just be keeping the Mavic 3 Pro because I like it so much.
Did you race it because he got that Mavic 3 Pro? That guarantees the 4's coming now. Hey, Bill, one last tariff joke here. I hope that there must be a tariff on quarterbacks in Pittsburgh. Steelers don't want to pay that quarterback tariff, huh?
Yeah, that's probably true. So we're gonna take we're at the top of the hour, so we're gonna have our 5 minutes of football talk here, drone reviewer football talk at the end of the show. So
you can cross Joe Flacco off your wish list now,
and we could probably cross Kenny off the list as well too, because he's now a Brown as well too. So but there's just it's like it's a 3-ring circus. This whole thing with Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? It was a 3-ring circus when he went to the Jets, too, as I remember it, okay?
He's always – everything he does is a 3-ring circus.
And then, you know, what was it? The first game, he tore his Achilles heel. Was out the rest of the year. I mean, you know, boom. That kind of thing. Yeah, I agree 100%, okay? Wilson was fantastic. And so was Josh, okay? I think they had something going there with that tandem.
Yeah,
and I think
when's the last time you had a prima donna quarterback like Rodgers? No.
You know, that's a hard thing. People called Big Ben a prima donna. He wasn't.
Okay.
I would have. Wow, that's a hard one. That's a real hard one to answer that question. But yeah, it's. Oh, and the other circus was TJ Watt posted out on something out on Instagram, and everybody made this big thing. I think he put up the number 2 or something like this, and people were saying he's only going to be here 2 more years, or who knows what. They said it was some kind of cryptic message that he was putting out there, and I am just yeah.
There's JAA. That's I got to meet him at the.
That's Joseph.
That's Joseph from St. Kitts.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Bill, they keep talking about this sleeper quarterback that the Steelers may get at the end of the first round. Is his name Dart? Something like that.
Well, you know, they have the 21st.
If he's the only thing they get, should they throw a guy like that in that right away? Couldn't they ruin him, making him play right away? Because he's not that high of a guy. You don't want to just throw somebody in there, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't want to throw a rookie in like that, okay? You don't want to do that. But as I say that, okay, what happened? What was it? 2 games into the regular season, Tommy Maddox gets hurt, and guess who they put in a quarterback? Okay,
yeah, Big Ben.
And the rest is history. Yeah. It's kind of like that first baseman that left the game and Lou Gehrig replaced him, and look what happened there. Same kind of thing here. All right, you know, it's not a normal thing. All right, when Roethlisberger came to the Steelers, he wasn't normal. He's not a normal athlete. Okay. He's like a super type of athlete. All right. The guy is he's incredibly well built and just, he was perfect for that role. I mean, it fit him real well. But yeah,
but
this
those
whole
guys
thing
don't come along every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, you know what, Ron? It's been nothing but a 3-ring circus. Rooney
Is
and
there a plan in place, or are they just flying by the seat of their pants?
well, the plan was, and this was according to Art Rooney II, was they wanted to either sign Wilson or
The guy went to the Jets, Fields.
They wanted to sign one of the two. All right. And look what happened. They both slipped through their fingers. All right. They didn't get any of them. So what did they sign? Mason Rudolph. Okay. And now, granted, Mason, 2 years ago, he took them to the playoffs against the Bills, and he did an admirable job. But I mean, really, it was.
But they got their backup in place. That's nice.
Yeah, they have a backup, which is good. That's a good thing. And he's a very, very capable as a backup.
Right.
He's not
capable
a starter.
Backup.
He's not a starter. Let's get that out.
The more he plays, the least effective he's going to be.
Yeah. Now, the Steelers don't. Their draft pick that they have is they draft 21st. Okay.
Right.
And that quarterback that they want is going to be long gone by then. All right. Who they're eyeing.
I think they may be reaching to get him a little bit that pick, so he may still be there. Because remember, the two Sanders and the other quarterback, the guy from Miami, Cam Ward, they're going to go for the top couple picks.
Yeah.
So the teams that really need quarterback are going to grab those guys.
Yeah. I'm just like, why? For me, okay. Why did you have this 3-ring circus to begin with? Okay. Why didn't you make a decision and say, you know what? Okay. Fields is going to be our guy. I like him. He shows a lot of potential. If we get a good coach in there, a good quarterbacks coach, we can turn this kid into a real talent.
And then they can focus on other things like offensive line and so on, right?
Exactly. Okay. Let's invest in our offensive line. Let's get a decent running back in. Hello. Let's build. Let's get some pieces in place to put around him. Okay. Get a good offensive coordinator / quarterbacks coach to mentor this guy. Get a decent offensive line in there. Get a running back who is not going to be prone to injury or fumble the ball and can build around a solid running back and a reliable running back that can give you X number of carries per game and get you some yards and can catch balls out of the backfield. That kind of thing. Okay. They did none of that. Okay. They did none of that.
So I guess they're going to address all that in the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. How many picks do they have?
I don't know. I don't know where they're at draft wise, but it's pitiful. It is just absolutely pitiful that they got to this point, Ron. This tells you, okay, how poorly this organization is run. All right. Because other organizations out there, their quarterbacks are all set for the season already. Okay.
Right.
We're in April, not even May. They're already set for the year. The only one who isn't set out of all the NFL teams is the Steelers. All right. That's and
Flacco, even as old as Flacco is, I mean, he'd at least been good to get you through part of the season.
Yeah, he could have done that. He could have been he could have been a bridge quarterback. Okay?
Right.
He could have been a bridge to the future.
A veteran that you don't have to work with a lot. He's not a guy who's going to need a ton of coaching. I mean,
right.
Flacco hasn't seen at this point. I mean, he's seen everything that could possibly happen now.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. But again, here we go. Things are slipping through their fingers all the time. All right, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Art Rooney II, all right, was a businessman. His father and his grandfather knew football. He had no clue. He inherited the Steelers because he was the heir. Okay. Mm-hmm. And look, he had no football knowledge and it's very obvious. Okay. With the decisions.
But a lot of the type of guys like the Eagles owner, he's not a real football knowledgeable guy, but he lets the football people run things.
Yeah. It really questions me who's really running the Steelers right now, because I think all they're doing is, They want profits. That's all they care about. Okay. Get their non-losing seasons and get their profits. Have a one and done in the playoffs. We have another non-losing season here. We'll put that trophy up next to the 6 Lombardis there, and we'll enjoy that. We'll take it.
We talked about too in the AFC. Like, it's no use just 6 teams. It's no use coming to 6 seed because that means you go to either Buffalo or Kansas City on the road. So you're done after that first game.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. If you come in like that, Buffalo or Kansas City, you're done. Okay. Not even going to happen. All right.
In the first round. Yeah.
Your first round, you're gone. Okay. Just absolute total.
You got to get in there, win the division and not have to face those guys in that first round.
Yeah. That's the only way that you won't face elimination the first week in the playoffs is to avoid having to play Kansas City or Buffalo out of the gate. Okay. If you play either one of those out of the gate, you're done.
If you and I know this and could talk about it, you got to think somebody there has taken that into account, right?
Oh yeah. Well, see, Ron. Okay, if it was Dan Rooney or somebody who really knew football like Dan Rooney running the Steelers, they would have done that. They would have taken all this into account. Okay. Now forget it. It's not even close. Okay. These people have no idea what they're doing, and that includes Mike Tomlin, okay? He has no idea what he's doing either, okay? None whatsoever. I'm quite frankly, it's not a good time for sports in the city of Pittsburgh right now, okay?
Well, how are the Penguins looking for the playoffs this year, Bill?
Penguins were eliminated 3rd year in a row, okay?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they're gonna some big name players are going to be gone after this season. Okay. Not Crosby, but some other ones, and the Pirates.
It's always the Pirates, right?
Yeah. It's like somebody goes, well, at least we have the Penguins. And I'm like, they didn't make the playoffs. Okay. What about the Pirates? I'm like, seriously, you know what I told one of my friends? Major League Baseball needs to step in and they need to force Nutting to sell that team to an owner who wants to win a championship. Because what is it? I think the whole payroll of the Pirates isn't equal to that salary of the one guy from the Dodgers, and I forget his name.
Yeah, the great Japanese player.
Yeah, the whole payroll, and and here the Pirates have the best pitcher in baseball. Okay, but then they don't have a team around him. What was it? I saw they had 10
and they won't have him in 4 or 5 years when he's a free agent.
Yeah, when he gets to be a free agent, look out.
He'll be a Dodger.
Pirates had 10 hits in 3 games.
Oh wow. All
right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't carry many Pirates on my fantasy team. And Bill, you and I know the younger people don't realize that, but we remember the Pirates of the 70s where they were like first or second place every year, won a couple World Series. The Pirates were a team to be reckoned with. From the late 60s to the early 80s.
It was the Pirates and the Phillies. I mean, they were constantly batting to win the National League East. It was a constant battle all the time.
And the only reason the Pirates didn't go to the World Series is because of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, they ran into the big red machine. Johnny Bench, Pete Rose. I mean, it was.
The Pirates were a model team in the 80s.
Yeah, they were. I mean, Dave Parker, Willie Stargell, the lumber company,
the early Pirates, Clemente and
everything.
West,
and then you also look to that time with the Phillies. The Phillies were neck and neck with them. I mean, it was a
little bit later started. They were still the worst team in the National League when the Pirates won the 71 World Series. But they're all those blue chip players, Lazinski and Spitz, they were all coming up. They were all
Carlton came up. And the process started after that.
Teams, yeah.
But it was like neck and neck. It was fun going to those games. It really was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was. It's not. Ron. I don't get a lot of fun going to games now. I don't see a lot of that like we did back in the 70s. I mean, I would like to watch. For historical purposes, I would just for enjoyment for. I like to watch some of those games from the 70s again. They were fun. It was fun watching those games.
I mean, I know we're sounding like old guys here, but the 71 World Series is one of the most enjoyable World Series ever when everybody thought the Orioles were going to kill the Pirates.
Yeah.
And the Orioles did win the first couple games, and the Pirates mounted that big comeback.
Well, the Orioles had 4 20-game winners, Ron.
and a whole bunch of all-stars like Frank Robinson and Brooks Robinson and all these Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Boog Powell. Yeah, just yeah. So, all right. Any closing thoughts here, Ron?
Well, just that we're on this drone watch. We didn't talk about you probably talked about last week, the little V-copter. Of course,
yeah, we did
now
last
on the
week.
Indiegogo. You can still go out and buy it. Supposedly, it's going to ship to you in, June. Now, of course, this isn't a premium drone like the Mavic 4. This is kind of just an entry-level drone. But, it's going to be interesting, Bill.
Yeah, it will. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. And if you want to get in on that price, I think they extended it a couple more weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they do it until they run out. There's so many in each price bucket, and it stays until then. But I don't want to get the tariffs because people got mad when talking about tariffs. But I didn't really see any when I purchased one, and I don't really remember seeing any tariffs on it. I don't know when do you see the tariffs? Do you see it when you make the initial purchase? How do you know when you get tariffs?
That I don't know. Yeah. Thank you, Ray.
Ray's saying you can still get it for $249 now. That little V-copter.
So if you're so inclined, do it. And that's going to be a fun drone. Josh was right. That's something like that will be fun. So if you guys
it looks like Bob Dempsey and Old Farts are going live tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
I think he's going to talk about that drone cruise that preceded the South Florida drone.
Okay.
Drone cruise.
Well, if you want to find out about that, tune in to Bob's show tomorrow afternoon. Of course, Bob's been gracious and has wanted me to come on several times, and I would love to, but it's right in the middle of my work day. It just really kind of doesn't jive. But again, I appreciate the offers, and thank you for all you do for the drone community, Bob. Really appreciate that. So that's it. We'll keep our nose to the grindstone. We hear anything else, we'll let you know. As always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.
Good night.